To many boxing fans, even those who will be born tomorrow, if you are to ask them who is the greatest boxer, actually, even people used to call him the greatest, and they used to shout, "I'm the greatest." If you ask anyone, any boxing fan, who is the greatest uh, boxer ever, the name will just come out automatically. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was born Cassius Clay Jr. He became a Muslim and converted, and he became Muhammad Ali. He's the greatest. I mean, everybody agrees that he's the greatest boxer to have ever lived. But you see, one thing we people forget is that if you're the greatest, this or that or that, then you have people who place you there. What do I mean? It took a foolish parent to say that, to accept that the child should be cut into two for Solomon to be known up to today. That is very wise. If that stupid mother would not have been there, we would never have known that Solomon is the wisest human being to ever be there. Similarly, for Muhammad Ali to be the greatest boxer, if he would have gotten just these ordinary boxers and so on, he would not be considered the greatest boxer ever. He had to be challenged by equally tough boxers for him to be great. You can be great, and just like you can be wise, and the people in your village do not challenge you intellectual-wise for your talent to be identified. So among the people who gave Muhammad Ali the toughest fights in his life was one George Foreman, George Edward Foreman, but people just knew him as George Foreman. He was so much known that there is even those days of salams. There was even somebody who used to send salams in VOK who used to call himself George Foreman Kagwa. George Foreman, among others, are the ones who made Muhammad Ali be great as he is, because they gave him a run of his money. Just to mention a few, there was Sonny Liston, there was Joe Frazier. If you ask me, the second greatest person after Muhammad Ali, if you ask me, I'll tell you it's Joe Frazier. There is Sonny Liston, there's Joe Frazier, there is George Foreman, and so on and so forth. So today we are going to talk about George Foreman, who died yesterday, and to talk about him. Uh, to the to the and what is known more about him most? What is more known about George Foreman most is his fight with Muhammad Ali. It is his fight with Muhammad Ali in Kinshasa, Zaire. Today it is called uh, Kinshasa, DRC. I think we should start with that fight, the fight in Kinshasa. Apart from the normal natural celebrations such as Independence Day, this was the only program that was aired on the national TV live. You find that those years, today we have so many TV stations, and we have color TV. Not only colored, digital, flat screen, sijui mambo gani. Those days we used to have a black and white TV, which used to be switched on and off with the time. So you find that most of the programs on TV or even on radio were pre-recorded. They were pre-recorded and they were watched. They would be watched by several people to, to do what? To verify or to certify that it can be shown. If need be, there can even be editing parts that they may seem not good. So we only had one TV station and we used never to have programs live on TV. But when it came to national holidays like Independence Day, let me not name others because I'll name Kenyan type or whatever and it may not be good. So there was those national celebrations which would be uh, there would be march past, fly past, and so on. So those are the only programs ever. And also the news. Yeah, this is 1 p.m. news on VOK. Those ones used to be live, but anything else, we even had programs that would be aired a week after it was prepared. So those the young generation who watch mubashara or live transmission, something is happening in the USA, and you are where you are, and as you are watching, you're watching live as it is happening in the USA. During that time, something happened in the USA. We may know it through the newspapers and whatever, but seeing the TV program may take even a fortnight. And there was one TV station, and all the TVs were in black and white. I remember some people who used to come from abroad. Okay, let me say, Mikweche's father. Mikweche's father used to work in Germany. So when he comes, he would come with a color TV. But you know, it being a color TV, you would watch it in black and white because the transmission and everything else in Kenya was done in black and white. So yes, we would be told this TV is colored, but you'd watch it in black and white. Also there was this those early days of video VCR. You would watch TV on black and white, and when you wanted to see your VCR video cassette recorder, it would be in colored. We had a 20-inch Ferguson TV, which was a privilege those days. Just having Kina Great Wall came later. Great Wall came later, and you know Great Wall was came around 15 years later. Great Wall was 14-inch. So most of the TV, Kina Bush, Granting, and whatever, they used to be 12. Was it 12 or 10-inch TV? And we had 20-inch Ferguson. Lando, my father was called Lando, was an official of Amateur Boxing Association, both at the Kenya Police Force, and the National Amateur Boxing Association of Kenya. So even though he was very harsh on us watching TV, but something like anything to do with boxing, he had inculcated into us the love for it. Just what I've seen with my kids with WWE. I can say for sure that I'm the cause for that. So TVs used to be, as I said, TV used to be shown at certain times and be switched off. When you switch on at a certain time, you'd find the TV off, or you just see it written transmission testing, but no pictures. Nowadays, the TV is on throughout. You switch on your TV any time of the day or night, you'll watch a program. And also nowadays there are so many programs. So remembering that such a situation, now we were watching TV, which was 2 hours late. I mean, we were okay. If Kinshasa is noon, I think East Africa we are 2 hours ahead. So they were fighting. Let's say they were starting at midnight Kinshasa time. So it means that we would be watching at 2 a.m. That was unheard of. The only time that TV station VOK was throughout during those days, throughout 24/7, was during the general election. Was during the general election, whereby the TV would be on, but they would bring movies. They would bring movies, cinemas, and then when the results came out, so and so has won this and that, they would stop that, announce that. So they would continue that way until all the constituencies we had MPs. So in those days, having watching TV out of time was a great thing. And that day, the VOK decided to show it at live. Uh, there was something I noticed that time, which I've never understood, is that both Muhammad Ali and George Foreman were blacks. But for reasons that I will never know, George Foreman was not liked by Africans. It was as if Ali was fighting a non-African throughout Africa, even in Kenya. Zaire, as DRC was known, always been rich, but even today, but the minerals are ends up in people's pockets. So Mobutu Sese Seko, in order to confuse people and not follow up things and whatever be happy, he decided to use state funds to have the fight in Kinshasa. I don't know why it was called Rambo in the Jungle, but I would say that it is these blacks, that is Muhammad Ali and George Foreman, for commercial purposes, accepted to downgrade Africans. Remember, there was a time when Westlands Mall was attacked, Westgate Mall in Westlands was attacked, and people are asking in international, you mean Nairobi is so developed that it's got a mall? So this thing of Western countries thinking Africa is so downtrodden. There was even a time when people would be asked, Kenyans when they went out, how is it, how do you cross a street in Nairobi while bypassing a leopard or a lion? So this thing of calling it Rambo in the jungle, first of all, it was demeaning to Africans. It was demeaning to Africans, and it should not have been there. But anyway, again, when it comes to marketing, they look for these uh, poemic sentences, poemic, something that sounds like a poem. Rambo in the jungle. So they called the fight of Kinshasa's Rambo in the jungle. Just by the name, one would think that they were fighting somewhere inside an equatorial rainforest or something like that. Uh, that one I noticed and I didn't like it, and I've never liked it. My favorite musical group, uh, in fact, Kenya people they associate the band with me. It was called Sosoliso or Magency or Magency. They had something in common with Muhammad Ali, because when Magency had a dance in some place, they used to the day before or the hours before they're having a dance in the night. Then during the daytime, they would go around the area. They would go around the area, greeting people on the street and whatever, making jokes with people. So Muhammad Ali also, just before they fought, he went around Kinshasa, greeting the mobs, greeting the mobs, And that is, I think, why Sosoliso really, what do you call, favored them. And even the after the fight, they came up with a song that was called Eighth Round, meaning that the eighth round that Muhammad Ali uh, beat up George Foreman. Uh, the other thing I wanted to say is that because of his going around and meeting people and greeting people and mobs and whatever, people, you know, George Foreman was somehow reserved. So Ali went around the town, and then the Zairians, or nowadays Congomeni, formed a catchphrase, a slogan. So they started saying, Ali, Ali, Bomaye, Bomaye. Now, a lot of people confuse. I mean, if you ask 99% of Kenyans or East Africans what Boma means, they'll tell you Boma means kill. No, Boma is not kill. Boma means eliminate. Eliminate. There's a difference between eliminate and kill, isn't it? Yeah. So they were singing Ali, Ali, Bomaye, which means Ali, Ali, finish him, or Ali, Ali, demolish him. I noticed two things about Ali in this and all other, and most of the fights that he used to fight. He used to have used two weapons. One was the psychological warfare. Uh, he would, like what he did to Sonny Liston. What he did to Sonny Liston earlier is that he annoys the person by talking to him, and then the person becomes so annoyed. There was even a time George Foreman has said that during the Kinshasa, George Foreman would really think he has beat him a lot, but Ali would tell him, "You have done nothing." So he used to make somebody who is going to fight him be really mad. And you see, when you're mad, you lose concentration. So that is what one of his fights that he used to use. The one that is called psychological warfare. Another one was robber rope, such that whenever he allowed you to beat him, he would just do it next to a rope, so that when you hit him, he doesn't fall, but he is supported by the ropes. So there was the psychological, and then there was also the support from the rope. And he used to make sure that you get so much annoyed and you lose focus. Like Sonny Liston got so much annoyed by the way he was being told by Ali, or done nothing, whatever, and I think there's even he used to call people bears, big ugly bear or something like that. So he got annoyed and took Ali to the corner. Now he thought that he was taking Ali to the corner, but it is Ali who was taking him to the corner. So reaching the corner, he decided to unleash a very big blow. That is Sonny Liston. A very big blow on Ali that would knock Ali out. But in the fraction of a second, Ali got out, and Sonny Liston hit the corner of the ring and broke his hand. Now here, your right hand is broken, and you're fighting somebody. That is how Ali used to do. Uh, he used to Ali used to play around with your mental circumstances so that you get so much annoyed. On the eighth round, Ali knocked George Foreman out. George Foreman has insisted for decades that he had been given some funny smelling liquid uh, before the fight. Before heading to the fight, he had been given some liquid to drink that tasted bad, and since that time, he was uh, he was fighting while unstable. Those days, nowadays we have doping tests and such a thing, but these days we don't have, so there is no way to verify that. But he kept on insisting that he had been given a liquid. Was it in the hotel or by his corner people? But somewhere he kept on saying that it is that liquid that tasted funny, and that liquid made him dizzy or something like that. It will never be confirmed because everybody has died. Ali has died, the officials who are there have died, and George Foreman has now died, and nobody can now verify one way or the other way whether it is true he was given liquid that had some drugs in it, or whether he's using that as an excuse. He was born on 10th January 1949 at a place called Marshall in Texas in the USA. He grew up in a very difficult life, and that is why in 1967, I mean, these people, if you look at them, okay, let me give the Kenyan example of Robert Wangila. Robert Wangila had a disturbed young type, and then he became a fighter or something like that. That is how many of them do. So he had George Foreman had a disturbed history, and so he started fighting, and he started fighting very young. Mostly we can say that his fighting life was between 1967 and 1997. That is a 30-year period, a very long period if you ask me, because sports, you are not supposed to fight, especially maybe sports like running, swimming or anything, but this sport of being hit on the head all the time, 30 years is too much. He was 2 times world heavyweight champion, and in 1966 he won Olympic gold for the USA. 1968 he won the gold medal for United States, and then 5 years later, 1973, he defeated Joe Frazier to be the first time he was to be the world champion, 1973. As I said, Joe Frazier was the toughest, and he defeated him. He defended the championship twice before he was beaten in Kinshasa on what we have just talked. He later became a preacher, an entrepreneur in the hospitality place. He started, even when he was a reverend, he became a preacher and also did entrepreneur in the hotel or hospitality industry. And even when he was doing that, once or twice he went back for boxing. What I'd say is that you can even see that in Mike Tyson. You see, these people, once they retire, there's a time they reach and start seeing that they have no money. So in any fight he would be called to be given millions of dollars. But now that he's old, and now that he's out of shape or something, he would be called for thousands of dollars. But then for somebody who, when he was at his peak, he's misused his money and is now broke, he can even accept that money. So when you see these people coming out of retirement, it is not for the love of sports. It is that they misused their funds when they were high, when they were still known, and now they are broke and they come back. And you see, that is the time when they are beaten by nobodies. He has been doing well in the field that preaching and hospitality until 21st March 20 until 21st March 2025, that he died. As the time of recording this, we have not established the cause of death, but he should be celebrated as one of the greatest boxers the world has ever had.